Hello, I'm going to talk about number sense, and this is a thing called subitizing. Subitizing is a very interesting thing. You probably are wondering, what is it? How do we do it? Well, when I say dog, what do you see in your head? Just think. Okay, tell me one or two. Okay, you don't see this. Most of us don't see this anyway. However, when we start teaching numbers, we begin with numerals. This is not a true representation of what 5 really represents. What we want to happen is for the kids to hear these representations and see what the words really represent. A picture of 5 things or a real dog. This levels the task for our English language learners, or ELLs. Subitizing is spatial pictures, recognizing without counting, encouraging development of relationships between numbers. It lays a foundation for number sense. Subitizing is when we teach a child what a dog is. We point to this and we say dog, and later we see this, and again we say dog, or they say dog, and we say, oh no, it's a baby dog called a puppy. And then we'll see this, and they say dog, and we say, no, that's a cat. Before you know it, they see this and say cat. And we say, that's a baby cat, it's called a kitten. And so then they'll see this, and they say cat, and we say rabbit. And then they say rabbit. Now, do we know the difference? All these animals have 4 legs, 2 pointy ears, fur, a tail, etc. My autistic son actually told me it's the noses. They're different on every animal. It's the same with numbers. We need to show them different representations, real representations of numbers, and let their brain make the connections. It's through repetition and structure that they truly begin to understand what numbers really represent. So let's subitize. We begin with the number 3. Number 3 is the base to build larger numbers on. We do not begin with 0 because we need them to understand that there is something before we teach them that there's nothing. You simply show them the quantity and say the amount. Just like we teach them what a dog is and what a cat is, we show them this and say 3. And this is 3. We changed one attribute. You can change attributes of color, arrangement, or number. By changing only one attribute, you give the student new knowledge, but you don't give them too much at one time to distract them. So you couldn't use like airplane stickers or American Girl doll stickers. It's not recommended because it's distracting. Here we change the attribute of shape and arrangement. In addition, we just made it accessible for our EL population because it's still 3. They can say it's 3. There are many different arrangements, but you really do not want to do more than 3 in a row, like horizontal, diagonal, vertical. More than 3 and the brain has to count. So just keep it down to 3 until they get used to seeing them in the different ways or the different orientations. That's the opposite of what we're trying to do. We don't want them to have to count, so don't make it more because the brain will count. And then we want them to recognize the number 2. We can change the attribute of the number. The number is an attribute, and now we're teaching the number 2. How many do we have now? 2. It takes much repetition and many cards with different attributes for children to master subitizing. Here's an example of a 1. You could have different shapes such as squares, different colors, things like that. Now it's time. After you teach numbers 3, 2, and 1, they are fluent. with them, and now they need to teach 0. You show them the blank card and you say, how many? Some kids will say, oh, that's the back of the card, or you got it wrong, or something like that, or it fell off, or they might say there ain't none. Well, if they say there ain't none, then you tell them that the number word for that is 0. 0 means there ain't none. Then you're ready to teach the numbers 4, 5, and 6. Before moving to a new number, go back to the one they have mastered, such as the 2. And then you can show 4. It's a multiple of 2. It's 2 2s. You have also changed one attribute, the number. After working with 4s, notice the color's the same too. After working with 4s, you can show them the 5. You get the 5, it's a double 4 plus 1. You're already laying the foundation for doubles plus 1, but you're not really saying it. You're just showing them, and they're just getting it, and they're seeing it. And because they're seeing it, then they're getting ready to start seeing the numbers a little more. You'd only do this for a little while each day, though. Before teaching 6, go back to 3. Don't forget the structure. It's essential. Once again, you're laying the foundation for arrays, multiples, and lots of other higher level math. Don't forget the importance of repetition and the importance of many different attributes, including orientation. Remember dogs and cats and how 4-year-olds learned. Then comes the number 7. The 6 explodes and you add one more. 8 can be taught in many different ways. 9 can be taught first, or you could just add more to the number 7. To teach 9 first, go back to the 6 and add 3 more. Remember, only one attribute changes when you go back to the familiar before going to the unfamiliar. How many is this? Don't treat this activity as a rote thing. Have children talk about it. Talk about what they see. I see 3 rows of 3. It'll give you some real insight to how they're thinking. Or they might see, oh, I see 3 3s and it's 3 diagonal and it's 3 whatever they say. Or I see a plus sign in the middle and I see, with the 5 here, and then I see the dots on each corner. They might see all kinds of different things that you might not. After the children mastered the number 9, it's very easy to see that this is 8. Now, I want you to collaborate with a partner for a few minutes. I want you to ask these questions. I'm going to pause the video, and I want you to just talk about that. Alright, don't stop now. Subitizing has so much more to offer than just recognizing quantity. Order of numbers, more, fewer, equal to, numerals, number words. We need this all the way through 5th grade sometimes for some children. But remember, it's just a few minutes a day. And remember, always start with 0 through 3. Now, how can I apply this to my 3rd through 5th grade if they don't need that? Well, you can use hundred squares, and you can do 100, 200, 300, 400. You can do sticks of 10s. You can do 1s. You can make it fractional. It takes a little bit to do the fractions, but it could be 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, like that. Excuse me, I'm sorry, 3/8, 2/8, 1/8, 0/8, like that. You get the idea. So break it down, consider the activities that we've discussed, and what standards will be taught in depth to mastery. Think about the critical areas. A child's not successful with activities, then we try some more. We do the same thing a different way. We change the attributes. Alright, it's time to master number relationships, composing and decomposing, adding and subtracting, part whole, and representing addition with subtraction. What do you see? 2 red, 2 black? You see 4? Do you see 2 sets of red and black? How many now? 4? How do you see it? 3 and 1, 3 black and 1 red. After much work with decomposing numbers in that way, you introduce this one. How many? 4. Oh, how do you see it? 4 and 0 red. 4 black, 0 red. Now they're going to see 4 red and 1 black. You can move from addition to subtraction. You can say this is 5. If I take the black one away, then there's only 4. There would be only 4, and they'll be able to see that. Alright, so master those things that we talked about before with the slides that look like this. Now, after that, you got to break it down. It's 10-20 minutes a day at the most. I'm saying you kindergartners start out with 1 or 2 and you can build on that. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. That's Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Go and make a difference. I like this one. It says, unless you're willing to have a go, fail miserably, and have another go, success won't happen. And that makes me think of Thomas Edison and trying that light bulb for 1,000 times. Let's go and be successful in our GSE. Our students need for you to be willing to try and try and try again. Now we're going to discuss these questions in our groups. I'm going to pause the video. This is actually the end, but that way you can still see the different questions, and you can have some good math conversation.